Hello, I would like to do some walk through the PR adding WordPress as a sample application into the kubectl-migrate. This WordPress deployment is based on the Kubernetes quick start example, which describes WordPress and MySQL having persistent volumes for the data storage. I took this as a starting point and a little bit extended it and make it hopefully more real world and fully working in the end. So let me start with this diagram. So the first part is where the external traffic goes. There are two services. The first is the WordPress, which is basically the endpoint of the application for the user or visitors of the website. This service points to the deployment that consists of a single pod, but this pod has two containers. First one is Nginx, which is a reverse proxy and also serving static content, listening port 80. And for the dynamic page, since WordPress is written in the PHP language, there is the WordPress official Docker image using FPM technology with fast CGI. And this is responsible for generating dynamic content, meaning running the WordPress CMS itself. Those containers share a PVC, which serves as the storage for example, WordPress configuration, theoretically some uploaded files, etc. This WordPress needs to connect to some database. In this case, there is the MySQL service, which also has a deployment currently with one single pod and one single container that is based on MySQL 8.0, use port 3306, and that is also has its own persistent volume, which is used for MySQL storing like database files. So this is the main stand. Also, this is the place where WordPress stores, for example, posts, pages, etc. This is the main part of the deployment. But in order to have working WordPress just after installation, there is one more thing, and that's a job, which is running on this deployment to initialize WordPress. So it creates some WordPress configuration, database settings, finishes install, so sets admin users, and then finally creates some sample post which contains some random data, so it's like unique per deployment. This was the short version. In the end, it should be visible some WordPress block with some sample post. This is this number, this text is always different, just to make us able to understand if the state was correctly migrated or if we have something different than expected. Let me switch to source code, which actually has been changed. More description, of course, you can find in the README, which shows more details on each service. And let me maybe show what is here. So let me start with the MySQL. So it's basically what we have seen in the diagram. First one is service, just saying that there is some pod, it should be exposed, has some name. Then PVC, which is the storage for the MySQL. And then it's the main deployment of the MySQL database, which uses some passwords. Here we use secret ref key, which is a set of the credentials which this application needs. Actually, in all applications there are free secrets or free password. First one is MySQL root. Then there is MySQL WordPress user, which is used by WordPress to access the database. And the third one is WordPress CMS admin password. So you can log in as the admin user into your WordPress installation. Those environment or credentials are generated by the deploy script. So this deploy script is a little bit longer than, for example, the Hello World application. So it's first, it's responsible for seeding the password. The result is a .n file, which is ignored by the Git, so it's not to be submitted into the GitHub, but it exists, and those passwords are used during the installation. Then there is the customize, which is the option which follows Kubernetes example of WordPress. So it puts together all those deployments, also sets a password, and install it on the cluster. In the end, we are waiting to have these two main deployments, WordPress MySQL and WordPress itself, to be available. And when it's done, there is the job which installs and seeds the WordPress, and we need to wait when the job is complete. Now maybe let me switch to WordPress deployment itself. The structure is pretty much the same or kind of similar. So first there is a service which use some load balancer, expose port 80, persistent volume claim for the WordPress, again just exist for the WordPress config, uploaded files, etc. And finally the WordPress deployment, which consists of two containers. First one, or here the first one is the main WordPress, which also needs some adjustments to be able to run on different endpoints, because by default there is something called site URL, which is enforced by the WordPress, and if URL is different, it sends the redirections. So it's not possible to reach it. So here it just dynamically sets whatever endpoint currently it's exposed, or meaning the URL in the browser, that's the site URL, and WordPress can work with that. Another container is was for the Nginx, and that's the reverse proxy which stands in front of this WordPress and is used to, yeah, this is the one. It's serving the static content and talks to WordPress, which is running fast GI as a PHP interpreter or technology, how to process the PHP there. This Nginx has just a configuration which is stored as a config map. It's pretty basic, I would say, or just a sample Nginx configuration for reverse proxy. So it listens port 80, has some root for the static content. This is connected or mounted as the volume. And then there is the location which try files. This is if file exists, it's served as a static file. If not, it continues to something adding PHP, and this is the proxy path basically to the WordPress container, which generates the dynamic part of the page. So I think that was for the MySQL and the WordPress deployments. Now let me show what is the install script, which was, for example, not part of this Kubernetes example, but we needed it to have WordPress fully running and seed it with some reasonable data. It uses persistent volume claim again to be able to see what is the same thing as WordPress. So this volume is shared. There is used some official Docker image from WordPress, which encapsulates or contains its CLI tools. This actually took me to use FPM images, meaning fast CGI, instead of Apache module, because of the permissions. Actually, these CLI images are always based on the Alpine Linux, which is running under user UID, I think 33. And the main WordPress used Debian as the base, so I need to switch to the FPM, which also used Alpine, to have the same UID set and have it working. This WordPress install job again has the required credentials to WordPress, and probably the most interesting part here is the custom script which sets up WordPress. So first it waits until MySQL is ready. When it's done, it installs or downloads the WordPress setup, creates a WordPress config file. Now it checks if it's already completed, or if it was WordPress was already configured or not. If not, it just triggers WordPress install, which sets admin password, etc. And finally generates some random or sample posted some random content and pushes it to WordPress and publish it. I think this was the overview how the WordPress is set up. Feel free to check README later. But now I would like to go to some live example. So we're in the directory with the WordPress sample application, and I will run deploy sh. Currently, I'm using my local minikube. Feel free to use kind. I just currently have this one as running. We can see that with kubectl-get all, can see everything is working. For now, I'm interested in the bot, which is WordPress install, and want to get logs for this. Yeah, we can see it's still waiting for the MySQL, so let's give it some time until it finishes. Okay, now it's running installation. This actually, for me, it takes like 30 seconds, or the deployment. It might take maybe a little bit longer, but I think in a minute should be fine. So yeah, post created, WordPress installed. We can switch back to this kubectl-get all. We can see that this install task was completed. So now we should have running WordPress. Now maybe let me show the UI. It's possible to access it. If you use Minikube, it's as easy as use Minikube service Postgres, which opens web browser with this actual data. But I'm going to use this universal thing with kubectl port forward, which is should be universal for also kind. So the port forwarding is enabled. So I'm switching to the UI and trying to reach WordPress. So this is the WordPress. You can see some, again, random number. If everything is clickable, should be working. I will show also an example how to get to the WordPress administration. Username is admin, and password you can find locally within your directory when you install just cat.env file. I will just copy paste password. And we are now with WordPress. This might go maybe a little bit beyond of the Kubernetes stuff, but let me show how, for example, change the appearance theme so we can see that how it looks. Okay, and there's some change. We can see images, so everything should be working. For the deletion, let me switch back. You can simply run destroy.sh and that's it. Yeah, everything deleted, kubectl empty. So that's it. That was the example. So please take a look on the PR. Looking forward to reviews. Thank you.